Hey everybody, John from Movie Balance here, back with another movie review. And today I'm going to be discussing The Nice Guys, which is an enthralling, mismatched buddy film. It's an action comedy too, from Shane Black, and it's really set in the seedy underbelly of 1977 Los Angeles, and it follows the bungling antics of two very different men. Firstly, you have Holland Marsh, played by Ryan Gosling, and the slightly more competent Jack Haley, played by Russell Crowe, and the both of them really attempt to solve the mystery of a porn star's death, and also track down the elusive Amelia Kuttner, played by Margaret Qualley, a nutty activist whose disappearance may help shed some light and provide some answers. And it's the death of the porn star Misty Mountains, played by Muriel Telio, that strikingly opens this film. An extended funk-heavy opening theme pans down to a house, and we see a young boy sneak into his parents' bedroom to steal his father's smutty magazine. At the exact moment he's looking in silent awe at the centrefold model, we see a car careen dramatically down the embankment from the mirror over his shoulder and crash straight through the house. The whole sequence is somehow morbidly amusing. Even now I'm not entirely sure why. And of course it's only the same model from the centrefold that appears before the boy, her dress ripped from her in the chaos of the crash. She only has time to mutter the seemingly gibberish line, "How'd you like my car, big boy?" before succumbing to her injuries. We're then introduced to a leading pair in the form of several synchronous noir scenes narrated by both, flashing back and forth between the two. They provide the audience with a brief backstory before diving headlong into the main story. These scenes do an insightful job of getting the two very different personalities across. Marsh is the forlorn-looking, struggling private eye who is earning his cob doing investigative work for old ladies. Jack takes a more hands-on approach to his work, and the beating he dishes out to Marsh in their first meeting perfectly encapsulates this. The first meeting between the pair, incidentally, is not entirely indicative of the blooming bromance that's about to unfold, with the latter's inability to stop grasping for his gun, earning him a potential left spiral fracture, and a darkly humorous ear-piercing scream. The parallel focus on both characters briefly continues. Marsh follows up the beating and warning about tracking a potential lead in the Amelia case by going to the grandmother's house to inform her that he is ending the investigation. His interesting father and daughter relationship is then somewhat perfectly summed up by a quick little chat between the two. "Tell me the truth and don't take it easy on me because I'm your father. Am I a bad person?" he asks, and her reply of yes comes back within a split second. Now, Jack at this point has already been assaulted and taken as a prisoner by Blueface, played by Beau Knapp, the moronic villain of the piece who earns his name by getting covered in dye. It doesn't last long though, and he soon turns the tables on his assailant. He then tracks down Marsh again to a bowling alley where his daughter's birthday is being held, and after a funny standoff involving a toilet cubicle, they decide to join forces to investigate the disappearance of Amelia together. Shortly afterwards, the pair of them end up at a surreal, seedy party, mingling with porn stars and all other manners of craziness, joined by a gate-crashing Holly, played by Angourie Rice, Marsh's barely pubescent daughter. We see the trio go about fishing for details, becoming progressively more drunk as the night goes on, and even taking the dip with a pair of mermaids at one point. Marsh develops a penchant for falling from heights and takes a tumble off a balcony into a wooded area, only to stumble across Amelia and a dead porn director. Gosling's facial expressions in reaction to the cops are genuinely hilarious, as is the nonplussed manner in which he tells Jack about his earlier swim. Holly, meanwhile, talks herself into trouble and a flurry of action erupts. Several fights and a drunken car chase, plus a hit and run later, and Blueface is lying dead, whilst Amelia has made a run for it. They are then introduced to Judith Kuttner, played by Kim Basinger, the Secretary of Justice and mother of Amelia. After giving a believable version of events, she hires the pair to find and protect her daughter. The next day, Marsh is nursing a hangover, though still drinking, and a small slip of paper found at the party by Jack is the only lead they have. After a moment of seeming logical clarity by Marsh, the self-confessed worst detective in the world, the duo head for an apartment block in Burbank, only to find it's been demolished for 2 years, crushing his newfound hubris almost immediately. They then end up running into a path of destruction at an airport hotel, and also a hitman going by the name of John Boy, played by Matt Bomer. Initially fleeing the scene before turning back, Amelia then falls onto their car and ends up back at Marsh's house, which she admits to starring in a porn film involving Misty, so she could help bring attention to an air pollution conspiracy involving her mother and Detroit cars. Following a dream sequence that resembles what I'd imagine an LSD trip to look like, and yet another car crash, it quickly becomes evident that they've been betrayed by the secretary. A shootout with John Boy then follows, and an escaping Amelia makes her last dash into the crosshairs of a hitman. After yet another eureka moment from Marsh, this time he's on the money though, the focus turns to airing a duplicate reel of film found in Amelia's grandmother's house in an attempt to gain justice and expose the whole conspiracy. Many shootouts, chase scenes, falls from height into pools later, and a bitter Judith is put away. The car company ends up getting off scot-free, however, but the new bromance is solidified with the Nice Guys investigative agency being formed. The leading pair of Gosling and Crowe deliver two tremendously entertaining, funny performances in this one, the former playing the bumbling drunkard with sorrowful undertones to perfection, the latter playing the rather portly brute with a sensitive side equally well. They both appear to have great on and off-screen chemistry, and it really helps the film in their performances. Angourie Rice almost steals the show, however, as the young daughter with a mental maturity well beyond her years, and indeed her father at times. Her character's presence acts as the glue which binds Marsh and Jack together. She should be commended for such an assured performance at a still relatively young age. I couldn't discuss the acting performances without giving high praise to the banter and deadpan delivery of humour between the three, which at times was absolutely hilarious. Now, I was late to the party with this one. I only seen this in early 2017. I missed its summer 2016 release, and I have to say, when I did finally get around to watching it, and I've seen it a couple of times since, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It did a good job of sprinkling in dark humour with some fairly violent moments to boot, and it had a decent little story which kept me intrigued throughout. I would highly recommend giving this a watch because it is a brilliant little film, and I'll be giving it a 4.5 out of 5. Remember guys, if you're enjoying the content we're putting out, then subscribe to us on YouTube and on iTunes and Google Play at the Movie Burner Podcast, and also pop on and give us a little follow on Facebook and Twitter at Movie Burners. You can also catch up with all the latest reviews we're putting out on the Movie Burner blog at movieburnerintertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.